Hello and welcome to the CentORus Workbench tutorial. My name is Karim El-Sayed. Let's start with a quick overview and the question, what is CentORus Workbench, or SWB as it's often called for short? CentORus Workbench is the graphical front end that integrates all TCAD CentORus tool into one environment. In this environment, you can string together tools to form simulation flows called projects. Here, this project is called Simple MOS, and the flow starts with CentORus Process, followed by CentORus Device, and finally CentORus Visual. CentORus Workbench automatically manages the information flow from one tool to another. Here, for example, CentORus Process creates a transistor structure. Let's take a look. So here it is. And then CentORus Device computes for this transistor the electrical characteristics, which we can plot out with as visual. So here is the IVs. CentORus Workbench also allows you to define parameters and variables to run comprehensive parametric analysis. Each parameter split introduces a new experiment. So in this project, for example, we have 4 parameters that contain splits, NWell, GOX time, LDD dose, and the drain bias. So for each of these parameters, we have 2 splits, and so that results in 16 experiments. SWB preprocesses the user input files to incorporate the parameter values in the input file and to handle the proper project parameterization before executing the tool instances. At runtime, tools can perform some measurements and extract values and export them to the table. Here, CentORus Process extracts the oxide thickness, and CentORus Visual extract electrical parameters such as the threshold voltage and subthreshold slope. The parameter splits and the resulting extracted value form a kind of a spreadsheet which you can export and then use with other statistical or spreadsheet applications. So this is a quick overview of what SWB does for you. And in the following section, we will look at many of these items in greater details. Let's talk about how to start SWB. To launch SWB from your Linux command prompt, you just type SWB. If you have not defined your SWB home directory, this dialog box will appear, which lets you select the location of your SWB home directory interactively. So we click here, say OK, and then SWB starts. However, you may want to define the SWB home directory once and for all in your shell initialization script. So let me show how to do that. So we go out here, and so here is an example of the C shell RC setup. And in there, you just need to add this line, set environment stdb, and then the location that you want. So here I will just copy it into my shell manually, but if you save that file and launch your new shell, it will be activated automatically. Okay, so now I type SWB again, and I will not see the dialog box. The tool will just start. So when the tool comes up, you will see first your projects, and then you will see the applications library. And the application library contains all the examples that are shipped with the release. So there's many examples there that are interesting starting point for you to use as templates and to modify to your needs. Also, all the examples that are discussed in the tutorial you'll find right here. If you don't see the application library, please ask your system administrator to download the package. It should have been installed with the CentOS binaries, but if that didn't happen, you can still do it afterwards. If you need to attach projects that are stored elsewhere, maybe projects from your colleagues, you can attach them. For example, you can attach their SWB home directories. You can do that with Edit, Attach Root, and then you can browse to that directory, whatever it may be. So let me take this one, you say OK, and then it shows up here and you have access to this directory. Depending on if it's from somebody else, you only have read access, but then you can access a project and copy it into your area. Now, if you want to access these directories on a regular basis, you don't need to do it each time manually. You can change your preferences under Edit Preferences, and here under Miscellaneous at the bottom you see Attach Root on Startup, and you can type in the path to these directories up to 5, and they will be attached automatically upon startup. Okay, and again, when you're done with it, you can just detach.